And it's lights out and away we go. Not quite yet. Now it's lights out and away we go for the Watkins Glen race, round 2 of the championship. Castillo's got a better start than Ordonez. He's got the inside 4, turn 1. He's going to try and squeeze him out. Ordonez trying to go right around the outside. Actually runs off the track. A lot of the top 6 run off the track. There's probably some more down the back of the field that we didn't see. Now, through the S's, Castillo has the lead from Ordonez in the pink halo. That's how you can distinguish between the two. Down the back straight towards the chicane. Ordonez isn't quite close enough to make a move on Castillo. There's a movement in the background. It'll be interesting to see if that got done even. Through the long right-hander that will take us to the back section of the track. No real overtaking opportunities here unless you're extremely optimistic, though Castillo should lead for the majority of the first lap, if not all of it. Ordonez is still quite close to him, so if there's any mistakes from Castillo, Ordonez should be able to slip on past, down to the bottom of the boot. There's no real overtaking opportunities. I say that, there was a car in the background that was either defending or looking at the inside. Looks like everything is normal. There's a car running off the track in the background. And now Castillo is beginning to build a lead over Ortiz. And as they complete the first lap, it's going to be Castillo from Ortiz, the way they started on the grid. And them two are pulling away as we switch back towards the mid-pack through the S's for the second time, looking to line each other up through onto the back straight for this chicane, which is one of the best, if not the best, overtaking opportunity on the track. Now, side by side, no, not quite, not good enough of a run. There's a big train starting to form. Up the inside, oh, there's contact. No, there's not quite. Backs out of it. So no change of position there. And down into the boot for the second time. This is the lowest point on the track. So through this bit here, they're all descending before ascending into the final couple of corners. There's a large train beginning to form. I don't know who's actually at the start of that train, but that could get very interesting come lap 3 or 4, or further into the race even. Donito Border has set a 46.9, I've just seen at the top. As they come towards the end of the lap, field beginning to string out a little bit. Castillo building a lead at the front, which is probably totaling a couple of seconds at the moment. Back onto the front straight, down towards turn 1. No moves looking to be made here, as far as I can see. There's a couple of close cars in the background, but I don't think anything will come of that. Through the S's, there's no real overtaking opportunity, but it is imperative that if you want to make a move into the chicane, you need to set it up here and have a good exit out of the S's, which there's fairly equal exits actually, but it doesn't look like there's a move being made. There might be a move in the background, up the inside, or just go out of the shot. Right around the outside for the second part of the chicane. They've somehow stayed on the track. They were still side by side coming out of the chicane. And if we could have gone on board with that would have been amazing. They're still side by side coming into the boot. And the move has finally been completed. That was a great move. But we're still focusing on this mini 3-car train that's just filing through the boot at the moment. And there might be a move if the exit is good enough, but it doesn't look quite like it is. Into the braking zone, closing up quite a lot. And back up the hill from the lowest point on the track. There might be a move into turn 1. We'll have to see. When we come through here, you can kind of catch a glimpse of Castillo at the front. and his teammate Ordonez behind, which is going to be a good way to measure the gap between both them two and the rest of the field, because them two originally really streaked away with it, but they've been sort of on the same pace as everyone else at the moment. Into turn 1 now. There was a move in the background, I think, but that might have just been people taking vastly different lines through the S's. There are a couple of people that could be close enough for a move, but I don't think so. So the field's really starting to string out now on lap 3. Lap 4 even. It's lap 4. And this will mean there's not as much overtaking, but there'll still be some overtaking, obviously, because there'll be people that won't string out to each other. But there'll be less overtaking throughout the whole field, because people are really getting into the rhythm now and finding the pace of both themselves and the car, and that's obviously not going to be the same as everybody around them. So it's going to be interesting to see the pace of certain cars compared to each other, and the front two, Castillo and Ordonez, if they can have a good battle, then that will be really good for both us, well, me commentating and we that are actually viewing the event. But I've rambled on for so long, we're nearly at the end of lap 4. And down into the final corner, not quite close enough to get well, there's going to have to be a mega exit to actually get a move done into turn 1. Have I got the laps wrong? I might have got the laps wrong. Is it lap 4 now? I did get the laps wrong. Yeah, so it's actually lap 3 that I was on about. So that's my bad. My apologies. I thought the lap count in the top left had actually been laps completed rather than the lap that they were on. Anyway, down towards the chicane. Is there a move on anywhere that we can see? No, not yet. And through the long right-hander. It's very cambered, that right-hander. It can be very easy to spin out, especially if you're on the short layout, because it tightens up on the X. But now we're down into the boot, lap 4 out of 38. There's quite a bit of closing there, but they'll probably string out on exit. I don't know what position this battle is for, so I can't give you context as to points or anything like that. Anyway, through to the final couple of corners. Castillo, who I think that was at the front, has really opened up a gap. So if that's true, this will be the battle for a third, as Castillo gets onto his 5th lap of 38, being the 200-kilometer run, I believe. And down towards turn 1, no moves on there. Oh, he's running wide in the background, gone off track. He's managed to save it, but he's dropped back into the clutches of the car behind and released the car that he was battling. Now, down towards the chicane. Is there a move on here? No, not quite. But there might be if the exit is good enough for a very optimistic move down into the boot, which would be both spectacular and in some ways almost suicidal. But anyway, we've got a replay of the start with an onboard camera. This should be very, very interesting. We're going to see how many people actually go off at turn 1. So off we go. There's a bit of movement there. It's sticking to the outside, racing line. Let's see if we can cut back. This is sort of in the front of the mid-pack almost, or the back of the front. So nearly everyone on the outside has run wide. He's stuck on the curb. The car's gone through on the right-hand side. Now looking back on an Audi into the S's. It opens DRS through turn 4, which is interesting. But down towards the chicane, there's a lot of movement back there. That was a bit of blocking if I saw there. Is there any moves? Doesn't look. Oh, there's a couple moves, which will definitely end up in someone going off the track. But that was a great replay to actually see what happened down to the chicane. So we've got a replay of the S's on lap 1 again. What's happened here? There's just movement by the looks of it. Right around the outside of turn 4. You can't do that, can you? On the grass almost. Down towards the chicane. Going to outbrake him. He's been blocked by a car in front. That's a slight contact. And has he got the move done? By the looks of it, he did. Moving on to a separate replay. This might be it's a replay of the car in front of that battle. So you'll actually be able to see what probably happened if there was actually contact, which we couldn't see from the helicopter shot. But up the inside, was there any contact? There was a car running wide in front, which I didn't pick up on the first start. Right around the outside of the long right-hander. Oh, that's brave. Doesn't quite get it done. If he was on the NASCAR version of the track, he might have been able to get it done. On board with that car now, so we'll probably see some movement mayhem into the chicane. Through the S's now, through turn 4. He's going to line up the car in front, but he's also going to be wary of the battle behind in his mirrors, which he needs to keep an eye on so he doesn't get too involved with that and look for the move up the inside of someone missing their braking point. There was contact in front, I think. So that's what sent the car wide. And then right around the outside, doesn't quite manage to get it done on the number 11. Sponsored by Verizon, I think that was. And down into the boot. Is there anything more that happens here? Or is this just a conclusion to the replay? No, it's just a conclusion to the replay now. Final corner on the opening lap. I believe this is the opening lap. Across the line, down into turn 1. What's going to happen here? There's some movement up front. Aha! This was the mistake. Right across the curve. Can he capitalise on it into turn 2? That's very, very risky. You don't want the car turning in on you there. But he's got the move done. That's very, very brave of him. And quite a good move, in fairness. On board with the same car later on in the same lap, I believe. The interesting thing about this is they have free range on when they can open their DRS. Like they're opening it literally everywhere that isn't a corner where they might spin out. But there's side-by-side action down at the tip of the boot. Are they going to get it done into the hill? They're going to have to outbrake them quite substantially. Up the insides, there's not going to be contact. We're going to try and hang it right around the outsides. The next one is a left-hander, so on the left can have the inside line if he's still there. No, he's not. On board with that same car. Back into turn 2. No, you can't do that. He's not even alongside him. He's done it, hasn't he? Oh, there's still alongside into turn 3 by the looks of it. Through turn 4, this might be a move that is actually completed into the chicane. You're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, he's still on the side. You can see his front wing and front right wheel there. Into the chicane, hop over the curb. There was no contact there. That's a great move. All the way from the S's at turn 2 up to the chicane. In the second part of the chicane is where he actually got it done, which is uncommon because I thought it would mostly be in the first part of the chicane. Looking back from the Aston Martin now, we can see through turn 1. This is going to be a rearwards view of the move that we just saw. So it's going to be very good. Through to turn 3, yep, they're still there. As you can see the DRS flap opening, which is just showing how much they're opening it due to the free range they have on it. Of course, there's no DRS zones here, so they're just opening it absolutely everywhere. So into the chicane, there wasn't quite any contact. There was nearly a spin during the move, which would have, ruined it, and it's probably the guy's race. But anyway, got the move done. Into the final corner now on a different replay. So this could be a slipstream move into turn 1. All of them open DRS. Over the line. He's going to outbrake him into turn 1. Down into third gear he uses because he's on the tighter line. Gets the move done, does he? Or is he going to try and have a look around the outside into turn 2, which is really, really brave. No, he's got the move done because he's cut across into turn 3. He might get another move done into the chicane. Right around the outside of the Aston Martin. Is he going to do that? It looks like he might. But the Aston Martin might come back up the inside into the chicane. He hasn't done as far as I've seen. And he's got the move done. 2 moves in the space of 4 or 5 corners. That's very, very good. Some great driving. And now he's going to try and catch that train in front of him. And hopefully pull some more moves. Doesn't move up there. But we're now on lap 9. And here we see the battle for second. Because Ordonez has dropped back quite a lot. He's now in front of Tobin, Steinberg, Border and Mark Dowse and Matra Jr. So the battle ranging from 2nd through to 7th. So it's a large train that Ordonez has created down into the boot. There shouldn't be too many moves that are actually made here. But Tobin going for the move up the inside of Ordonez into the heel of the boots, the back section of the track, on the brakes. Ordonez is going to try and hang it right around the outside. Tobin's still there. Ordonez runs off the track, so Tobin has that position. Now Steinberg is going to try and follow Tobin through. Not straight away though, but Ordonez is also going to try and get back past Tobin, so this could become a very, very hectic battle pack very, very quickly. So, down towards turn 1, Tobin is escaping. Look how quick he is compared to Ordonez. So, either Ordonez's tyres have gone off, or his pace at the start was a fluke, quite frankly. Anyway, there's Border might try and make a move on Steinberg down into the chicane. No, he hasn't got a good enough exit. That put Border in the path of Marketer. And down into turn 5, which is the chicane. Is Ordonez going to lose yet another position? Yes, he is. Or is he on the brakes? No, he's managed to hold it just about, sliding through the chicane. He's managed to just about hold the position and down into the lower part of the track. So there shouldn't be too many moves. But we have seen earlier in this race that there can be moves attempted here. I haven't actually seen a proper pass, but there has been attempts for moves in this section of the track. As Castillo is on his 10th lap, so more than a quarter done now. Up the inside, no, not quite, not there, and there's not going to be any more moves. So Ordonez is always already lost the back of Tobin, who's now in 2nd position, going to look to chase down Castillo. But how far Castillo is in front is monumental. He's so far in front if we look at the lap counter, which actually follows the leader. So it's going to be a massive task for Tobin to actually win this race, even get close to winning it, because of just how far Castillo is in front. But anyway, through the S's, we go for now the 11th start. This race has flown by so far. This is now the battle for 3rd. Ordonez looking to defend from Steinberg. The Border waiting in the wings. Down the inside, look, Steinberg. No, not there, not yet. Going to try and set him up later in the lap or next lap. Just stay on the back of him, and he will have an opportunity at some point a better opportunity at some point in the race, because of how slow Ordonez has actually become at the moment. So down into the boot, you can see Milne in 8th is now on this graphic for the battle for 3rd. He's sort of there, I think. Anyway, Steinberg is going to make a move on Ordonez down into the heel. Is he? Yes, no. Yes, we've seen this before. Ordonez is going to hang it right around the outside. He's got on the curb though, so Steinberg is going to try and go right around the outside. That's very, very brave. Hopefully Ordonez doesn't run too wide. Oh, he's on the grass, is Steinberg. He's nearly hit the wall. That's some quality driving to actually keep it out the wall. But Ordonez keeps 3rd position in front of Steinberg, who's now being harried by Border and Markdaus. Down towards turn 1 goes Ordonez. The pressure on him has been relieved for a minute or two. No, there hasn't been any moves further back forth on Steinberg after he did run very, very wide and nearly into the barrier at the at turn 13. 13's unlucky for Steinberg by the looks of it. But he's now right on the back of Ordonez into the chicane. Is he going to get it done under the brakes? No, not quite. Slides through the chicane, does Steinberg. As you see, when they try to overtake up the inside, the car on the inside for the first part of the chicane always slides on the left-hander. But anyway, down the hill, there's very, very close. There might have even been a bit of contact there. If I was watching properly, I might have actually picked it up rather than telling you about cars sliding. But anyway, we move to the end of the boots even. And up the inside goes Steinberg. He's further in front than he ever has been at this point of the track. He still brakes earlier than Ordonez, who seems to have a really good run on the brakes compared to Steinberg. But Steinberg has got the exit off of the corner right around the outside at turn 13, and he's kept it on the track this time. So Steinberg has moved up to third position in front of Ordonez, who's now going to have to both stay on the back of Steinberg and hope Steinberg actually pulls him forward, and simultaneously look in his mirrors for the people behind him, namely Border, Mark, Matra, and Mel. So, well, you can see that Steinberg hasn't pulled away at the rate that Tobin actually did, because Tobin flew off after he got past Ordonez, and he's probably looking to close the gap as much as possible. I don't think he will by the end of the race to Castillo, who's really dominated this race from turn 1, led into turn 1. We haven't really seen him since because there's been nothing to look for in his race so far. Then there's the chicane. There's not a move on there. Right on the right hander on lap 13. So Steinberg needs to watch out, considering what happened at turn 13 last time. Time before that, lap 11. And Steinberg is really, really pulling away from Ordonez in fairness. So, Castillo is in the pits, as the graphic has said. So Tobin, this is Tobin's opportunity to actually lead and pull a gap on Castillo, but Castillo will be on new tyres. So it looks as if it will be that he'll be faster due to his newer tyres that aren't as warm. So Ordonez still looking to defend that 4th position now that he's dropped to. Tobin has actually passed Castillo, who's in the pits. We might see Castillo. The graphics have gone away, so I assume that Castillo has left the pits. Down towards turn 1, you see Steinberg there, still in 3rd position. And we now look at a battle between, I think there's 2 Aston Martin. There's definitely 1 Aston Martin. Now, up the inside possibly, you see Tobin's teammate there in the background. Yeah, it's 2 Aston Martins that are battling. So the team principal of Aston Martin is going to be tearing his hair out at the moment, hoping that they don't crash. Well, the lead one doesn't look to be under threat into the chicane. There might be a move in the background, however. Up the inside into the chicane, there's going to be some sliding going on. No, there's not, because they haven't actually gone side by side into the chicane. And now the 2 Aston Martins lock into combat, lock onto each other. Hopefully not in the crashing sense, for the sake of Aston Martin, and the fact that they might pull out if that happens. But anyway, down into the boots for the 14th time, and getting towards halfway in this race. Nearly 100 kilometres done. That'll be at the end of lap 19 that happens, for people that can't work that. Up the inside into the heel of the boot, is that going to work? No, it's too far back. It'll have to be a Daniel Ricciardo-esque move to actually pull that off. Lap 15 now being started by Tobin, who's the leader at the moment. So that is the first lap that Castillo hasn't led, and it's taken until lap 14 for that to actually come into fruition. But anyway, through into the final corner come the 2 Aston Martins, All three of them open DRS. There's not going to be a move into turn 1, I don't think, because they look found out enough from each other. There was a guy in the pits on the left-hand side that you might have just caught. He looked to be the last pit box, so he would have had a long trip down the pit lane before he actually got serviced. Anyway, two Aston Martins lock into combat going into the chicane. It is very close. There might be a bit of a dive bomb if the move is going to have to be made. Doesn't come off, and there's no sliding going on there from either of the Aston Martins through turn 7, I think that is. And we're now looking at the battle first. Steinberg has really caught up to Tobin. Tobin in the ART in front and Steinberg in the BMW behind. And this has really come from what happened to Ordonez. And as you can see, Tobin has set a 39. I didn't catch what the point was at the top there, but that's a fairly quick lap time. And Tobin is going to have to look to defend from Steinberg. This is effectively the battle for second position because Castillo is so far in front. A 39.6 for Tobin that has just been set. Just as it went over the line there, you saw it at the top. And Steinberg is going to look to make a move into the chicane. He's got a really good exit off of the S's by the looks of it. He's in the slipstream of Tobin up the inside into the chicane. He's a little bit too far back, is he? They're going to try it by the looks of it. No backing out. Steinberg has backed out. Not enough to prevent the slide, however. And Tobin keeps the position for the moment. All of this battling is actually going to drop them back further into their net P2, possibly back into that train that they came from. And we're now on board with Tobin in the ART, powered by Toyota. And down into the boots they come. There's a single file through here, mostly, as you've seen. There's been a couple of moves that have been made, but none have really come off unless the car has actually gone off the track into this corner here, which I like to call the heel. I don't know if it's actually called the heel, the boot heel, so we'll go with that. And Steinberg following Tobin through for the moment, content with just sitting behind him, just keeping the pressure on. And through to the final corner now. They're both going to open DRS going down towards turn 1. And they're going to get on the brakes, close the DRS, fly through turn 1, or I won't say fly through, use as much curb on what is on the right hand side on this, but on the left hand side of the track on the exit, use as much of that as you dare really without getting spun out or spat out to the left or the right if you get spun out. But now down into the chicane, is Steinberg going to try and make a move? And goes up the inside. Tobin set a 40.4, so you can really see how much this is slowing him down. Side by side through the chicane. Is Steinberg going to get it done? Through the long right hander, he has the inside line on Tobin, and he's got it done. Has he? Yes, he has in the BMW. Has Steinberg. So Steinberg is now actually leading the race. He's in a net P2 now because of Castillo being very far in front. Couldn't think of an analogy quick enough. But Tobin's now going to look to settle in behind Steinberg and get an opportunity later in the race to repass him. And we have a replay of that move from Steinberg on Tobin. It's just a textbook chicane move, really. Tobin really tried to keep his nose in there and actually forced Steinberg to finish the move through the long right-hander. That's turn 9 it actually is, I've just worked out. So right through here, Tobin is still on the outside, but Steinberg really needs to watch out, but he's got in front of him. And you can see from the rear shot of Tobin into the chicane, there's not quite contact. There's not, well, I say it's not quite contact, there's no near contact. So respectful driving from both Tobin and Steinberg. Steinberg obviously getting that position, as we've seen both live and now on a couple of replays. There's a car peeling off into the pits. This is Ordonez, who's now dropped down to 7th. He's being overtaken by Webster. Now the inside into turn 1, he's got it done. No, he hasn't. Ordonez has run wide. There's a car that's come out the pits, so they're now up to P6 and 7, so this is about 6. Webster has got it done through turn 3. No, you haven't. Surely not. Ordonez still on the outside through turn 4. He's got really, really close to the grass and the wall there on the outside. That would have been a humongous accident if that would have come off. But anyway, around the outside goes Ordonez into the chicane. Webster is still there as he does very, very close to contact through turn 9. A long, long right-hander. Mark Dowse is right there in case anything happens. Webster has got past Ordonez and up into P6. And you can see a replay here of the battle for 6th. Oh, there was a replay beforehand, I think, and I just didn't notice that. Anyway, Ordonez has dropped down to 7th and is now looking to defend from Border, who's got past Mark Dowse. And through the final corner, all single file, all 5 of them. And Webster pits. Webster is coming to the pit. So that frees up Ordonez, who's now being overtaken by Border. Milne is looking to get past Mark Dowse as well. Up the inside into turn 1 goes Border. Ordonez is going to do the same thing he did last lap and run right over that curb all the way out onto the concrete on the other side of it. And he's not going to try and hold it through turn 2 and 3. So Border has got the move done into the very fast and flat out turn 2. Now, Ordonez is going to have to look in his mirrors, is he? Or is he going to go on the attack? He's going to go on the attack on Border. Down into the chicane, trying to get that 6th position back. Up the inside, is he going to get it done? No, not quite. He backs out of it. And now Mark Dowse is going to have a really good chance of actually getting past Ordonez further around the lap. And here we can see Milne getting past Mark Dowse. Audi on Ford. Is Mark Dowse actually going to defend it? Well, he's not going to defend it, but he's running really, really wide, forcing Milne right over to the side of the track, right-hand side of the track even. And Milne actually gets it done. That's quite a good move from him. And here we see the 2 Aston Martin Red Bulls of Bray and Fabrici. Fabrici looking to get past Bray into the chicane. No, that's not going to happen. This is lap 20 now. So after this lap, there's just 18 to go. So we're more than halfway now. We've done the first 100 kilometres, just 100 to go. This is the battle for 12th place, so not quite inside the top 10. But if Fabrici can get past, he can try and push on and actually get to that top 10. As the leader has started the 21st lap. I don't know who the leader actually is at this point. I don't know. It's still Steinberg, I think, because we haven't seen anything saying he's not. So Fabrici trying to get past his teammate of Bray. That probably won't happen until about either turn 1 or the chicane, or maybe a chicane move that gets dragged out through the long right-hander. That's the latest I can see it getting done on the next lap, which is lap 21. Through the penultimate corner, they're holding each other up, or more like Bray is holding Fabrici up, which is actually bringing a couple more cars into the battle than Aston Martin would prefer. They prefer them not to actually be on track right next to each other, I'd assume, just in case anything went wrong. But they are, and they're going to have to deal with it through turn 2, and the entirety of the S is in back. Through turn 4, there's going to be a look from Fabrici on his teammate. Bray, is he going to get it done down the chicane? He's gone right to the right-hand side of the track. Not quite far enough alongside, so he's going to back out of that. Is he? Yes, he is. And wait for another lap or so. They've actually dropped the car that I said was coming into the battle, so they held off from attacking one another long enough that they could build a gap. Either that or the car behind actually came to bits. That's not a move into turn 10, is it? And Fabrici has gone up the inside into turn 10. I never thought I'd see him move out there, but Bray has actually defended it fairly well and is still in 12th. Fabrici looking to get the exit off the boot. Is he going to get it done? He might do. but no, too far back into the heel, breaking down there. And it's the final complex of corners. There won't be any moves here. So Bray is going to stay in 12th position for another lap. There's a move in the background that I saw. Just caught it through the trees into the heel. That looked like it could have got very, very messy if the car on the inside actually ran wide. But doesn't look like they did. Through the final corner, two Aston Martin Red Bulls still locked in combat, as they have been for a good few laps now. There's a car in the pits, as you can see on the left hand side even. I would hope if I knew my lefts and rights. Through turn 1, there's neither of them have run wide. Through the S's, is Fabrici going to set it up properly and get far enough alongside that he doesn't have to back out this time, and get past his Aston Martin Red Bull teammate Bray. So Fabrici is in the slipstream of Bray. He's going to look to the inside of the chicane just as he did last lap, and he's going to do the same thing that he did last lap, back out of it, and lose a bit of time to him. But Fabrici is obviously so much quicker in the middle and final sector that he will just catch that time back up and set him up through the chicane again, or the chicane, through the S's again, for the chicane. But anyway, we still concentrate on this 12th place battle between the two Aston Martins. Steinberg starts his 23rd lap of 38. Still yet to pit is Steinberg, as far as I'm aware, which could drop him back quite far. But we're not focusing on that at the moment. We're focusing on the two Red Bull cars of Bray and Fabrici, who have been battling for maybe 3 or 4 laps now. We've been focusing on it for more or less that entire time, and it's been a very symmetrical battle, if you like, because the same sort of things happened. Fabrici's lined him up through the S's at turn 2, 3 and 4, tried to make a move into the chicane, and has actually backed out because he's not far enough alongside. So we're going to see if that happens for what will be the 3rd lap in a row at this point. Through turn 2, 3 and 4 come the two Red Bull cars. Fabrici looks a bit further back than he actually has been before. Hasn't set him up particularly well. So Bray looks to keep the position. Fabrici's got a very good run, but he's nowhere near close enough to even think about a move on Bray down into the chicane. So they go line of stand through there yet again. Bray in front of Fabrici. However, Fabrici has actually got a much better run off of the chicane than he did, but he ruined it coming through turn 9, the long right hand, because he ran too far wide onto the grass, in fact, on the entry, so he didn't have enough speed through the corner to capitalise on the run that he had on Bray. But now down into the boot, they're going to try and not crash, and Fabrici's going to try and get in front of Bray. They can't see it happening here. Fabrici's way too far back, and he's going to need to try something a bit different into some corner. Let's say out of turn 1, he's going to have to get a mega exit if he actually wants to get far enough alongside that Bray has to think about properly, like not turning in on him. Because at the moment, Fabrici's just backed out every single time they've gone to the chicane remotely near each other. And Fabrici's actually quite far back compared to what I was expecting. So he's going to have to get that mega exit off of turn 1 that I was talking about. Through turn 1, they both use a bit of curve. Fabrici uses a little bit more, is what I've noticed over the past few laps, than Bray has been. Through turn 2 and turn 3, all of these are flat out. You can make a move through here, but it's very, very brave. We saw that earlier in the race. There was a good couple of moves that were made by the same car, actually. But now, into the chicane. Fabrici's alongside. Is he far enough alongside this time? He's far enough alongside. Has he got the move done? There's very, very close to contact. The two Aston Martin Red Bulls. And Fabrici's finally got past his teammate Bray into the chicane. That took a few laps longer than Fabrici would have wanted. But now he can push on to try and get inside the top 10. We're still focusing on this battle, however. Is Bray going to make a move to actually come back at Fabrici? It doesn't look like it, because Fabrici has already pulled a decent gap from Bray. And yeah, so Fabrici has actually gained that position, and I can't see Bray making a move. Now on lap 25 for the leader. The race is really, really flying by. Just 14 laps to go, and we're still focusing on this battle. Is something going to develop in this Aston Martin Red Bull battle that I haven't foreseen? There's a possibility. I'm not very good at foreseeing things. But anyway, through the final corner comes Fabrici. Is he going to be able to make or defend a move even to turn 1? That shows how many laps they've been battling. I still think Fabrici is behind. No, Bray is not going to be able to make a move on Fabrici. And is going to have to sit behind in the S's and maybe under attack from behind from Matra, who in the Audi, who's really, really dropped back. I don't know if he's pitted. He might have pitted, which will be an explanation as to why he dropped back from initially the position for the battle for third when Ordonez was holding up Steinberg and Tobin and a lot of other cars. He was in 7th at that point, I think, and has actually dropped back to 14th. So pitting would be a logical explanation for that, but he might have had a moment somewhere. Anyway, the Audi looking to get past the Aston Martin and then push on to catch the other Aston Martin of Fabrici. So Metra lining Bray up now. Lap 26 they're going to go on to after this final complex of corners. So this has become the battle for 13th place, giving it a little less meaning than the two Aston Martins battle. However, it's still an exciting battle that I can predict, and hopefully it's going to result in some very good racing and minimal contact. Anyway, Matra is trying to possibly line up Bray through the final corner, which is going to be a good move into turn 1 if he can do it. But the front straight here is actually quite short, one of the shorter proper straights on the track, because turn 4 through to the chicane is the longest straight on the track as far as I know. It definitely is without the chicane. I don't know about with the chicane, but we're using the chicane layout, so we'll talk about the chicane, shall we? Through turn 3 and 4 come Bray and Matra Jr. Right around the outside tries Matra. Is he going to get on the grass? Very, very nearly. Matra now looking up the inside. He's switched his attack up the inside of Bray. No, he's not close enough. Backs out in the Audi. So the Aston Martin Red Bull keeps 13th place for now. Through turn 9, the long right-hander, which never seems to end, especially when you're in a car such as this. And in a battle, you just want it to end because it punishes your left side tyres so much that keep nibbling away at them every single lap. But now into the boot is Matra going to try and make a move into the heel. It's going to be a very good one if he does. He's got a decent exit. He's in the slipstream, but I don't think the straight's long enough to actually warrant a move into the heel. Matra really closes up on the brakes, especially in the heel, is what I've noticed. As Steinberg moves on to lap 27, providing he's not pitted yet and is still the leader. We haven't seen anything saying that he's not the leader, so we'll just assume that Steinberg is still the leader and that he hasn't pitted yet. He's making his tyres go a really, really long way if Steinberg hasn't pitted yet. 27 or 26 laps, but it will be 27 by the time he comes back around, providing he doesn't retire. But anyway, Bray looking to defend from Matra for a second lap, and if this battle is the same length as the two Aston Martins battle, this will actually take us through to lap 29. So Matra is going to try and have a shorter battle than that, get past him as quick as possible, which might happen here down the chicane. Matra's got the inside line and has got his nose in front. They're going to go side by side, minimal contact. Matra slides through the chicane, up the inside into turn 9. Is he going to get it done? Bray is trying to hold him right around the outside. Might make a move into turn 10 if he has enough space. No, not quite, he doesn't. Matra moves up into 13th place. And that was a textbook move into the chicane, complete with sliding. So we're now looking at the battle for second. Here's Castillo. So yes, Steinberg is still the leader because we can see Bert Tobin here in the ART powered by Toyota, and Castillo in the Virgin with Stuward in the BMW waiting in the wings just in case either battle ensues or inside battle there is a bit of a crash between Tobin and Castillo, which is a possibility because of the way that the AI behave. But anyway, Tobin is driving in the middle of the road. That's a good defensive method into the chicane. Castillo still tries up the inside, slides to the chicane, so much it just goes off the track. We haven't seen that yet. That's how far alongside he was. That's probably the furthest alongside that I've seen a car that hasn't actually got the move done down into the chicane. But anyway, Castillo is now looking in the mirrors at Stuward, and Tobin is going to try and use this opportunity to run away and catch Steinberg again, who passed him earlier in the race. You will remember, or should remember even. Down through the boots, no moves there. Last lap for Tobin was a 39.6, so there was a couple of 39.6s that I saw at the top earlier, but none too special. I don't think. I haven't driven around here, so I don't know what's a good lap time and what isn't. Not in these cars anyway. But Castillo looks to get past Tobin. He's going to line him up through the final corner for turn 1. I don't think so. Castillo looks too far back in the Virgin. No, it's not going to get it done. Down into turn 1 on the brakes. And Castillo is actually very, very close. If the straight was a couple hundred metres longer, you might have actually got the move done with Castillo. But lining Bert Tobin up through turn 2, 3 and 4. He's going to have an amazing run coming off of turn 4 because he's right in that slipstream. He's going to have DRS, as will Tobin, because they have free reign on it in this series. And up the inside he already is. Turn towards the chicane. Is he going to get the move done? They're side by side. He should get the move done. Castillo should round the outside. Tobin is going to try and hold it through turn 9. And he's not going to actually manage it. And now he's going to have to look in front of him so he doesn't run into the back of Castillo and ruin Castillo's possibly winning race. And he's going to also have to look behind him so that he can see where Stuward is and doesn't turn in on Stuward, so he ruins both his race and Stuart's race. But Castillo is actually, he regains the net lead because Steinberg, I believe, still needs to pit. Unless he's going to try and go all the way, which with just 10 laps to go, if he can make his tyres last, might be able to viably do. But we're still on board with Tobin in the ART. Castillo's not made an amazing gap so far, but he's probably just conserving his tyres. He knows that if Steinberg pits, he will lead, and lead very, very comfortably because Tobin is far enough. Tobin still needs to pit. Stuward now looks down into turn 1 on Tobin. Doesn't get the move done. We're now on lap 30. Stuward actually goes wide, so that's going to compromise his run through the S's. Yeah, look how far back he's dropped off of Tobin. That's going to relieve a lot of pressure off of Tobin's shoulders and free him up into the chicane to actually take the line that he wants and the line that he will benefit from. To try and catch Castillo in front through the chicane. Now they come, and no, there's no reason to suspect a move. Stuward was too far back after he ran right over the curb and onto the concrete on the other side of it at turn 1. But now Stuward is right on the back of Tobin once again, down into the boot. Tobin actually led a couple of laps after Castillo pitted, which is why he's quite far up the order. He doesn't have, from what I've seen, he doesn't have the pace of the top runner today. And if Tobin pits, he's going to drop down, possibly even outside the top 10, based off of where the two Aston Martin were earlier in their battle. But anyway, down towards the final couple of corners. and there's not going to be a move down into here. Obviously, too tight. There's a wall right there on the exit of the final corner. You so much go 3 miles an hour too quick, you're in that wall, race over quite probably. And Stuward looking to make a move. He's done the same thing again, so he's going to compromise his run again through turn 1 and through the S's. He's a little bit closer than he was last time, so he's actually caught overall and the lap. But if he keeps running wide like he is, I don't know if he's got damage or if the dirty air of Tobin's car is actually creating a wash at the front, like an aero wash at the front of the car, meaning that he will understeer like a London bus. But I don't know what's causing it. But from the 2 laps that I've really been focusing on Stuward, he's run over that curb on the exit of turn 1 both times and compromised his run through the S's up to the best passing place on the track, which is the chicane. But into the boot now for the 31st time comes Tobin and Stuward, and they're going to try up the. Well, Tobin's not because he's got no one to pass, but Stuward is going to try and pass Tobin. We haven't seen any lapped traffic yet, which is interesting. So everyone enough on the pace that they haven't been lapped yet. The course is fairly long as well, so it might be that the course is so long that it's not quite viable enough to lap someone unless they are very, very slow. Either that, or we just have been focusing on battles further down the field when that lapping has gone on. On to lap 32 now, come Tobin and Stuward down into turn 1. Is Stuward going to run over that curb again? Yes, he is. Look, he's doing the same thing every single lap, where he's running off at turn 1. I think he's carrying too much speed through turn 1, and that's actually what's killing him. Well, not killing him, but like killing his run through 2, 3, 4, and up the chicane, which, as I mentioned last lap, is the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Although, remembering what I saw in the background when Castillo was battling, in inverted commas, with Tobin, Stuward could actually take that corner, which makes me think it's actually an aero wash that's causing him to run wide each lap. Like the aero wash from Tobin is actually causing Stuward's car to run wide at turn 1, but it doesn't seem to be happening anywhere else, which is the interesting thing, which sort of counterbalances my argument. But we'll just commentate on what we see rather than what we think for now, and we'll go from there, shall we? But into the final couple of corners, and Stuward is going to try and make a move down to turn 1, maybe force Tobin off over the curb, which will be an interesting strategy and might incur a penalty from the stewards. But anyway, down in towards turn 1, there's no moves being made there. And is Stuward stayed on the track this time, so by the looks of it, he was far enough back that the aero wash hasn't affected him, if that's what it is. It might not be, it might just be that he carried far too much speed in the last 3 laps, and I'm just looking very stupid at the moment. It could be either of them theories. But anyway, he's now right on the back of Tobin, who is still in 3rd position, actually. Still hasn't pitted, which is interesting. I don't know if he is going to pit. He might go the full 200 kilometres without stopping, which would be a very good achievement. However, Steinberg is doing that as well. Oh, up the inside, into turn 9, went Stuward. Not turn 9, turn 10. Right around the outside of the boot. No, you can't do that. Surely not. Right around the outside of the boot. Tries Stuward. He's still side by side with Tobin, going into the heel. He's going to try and outbrake him. Stuart's probably going to run wide. Tobin might force him wide through here. Yep. There he goes. He's still side by side through into the turn 13. Not the turn 13, into turn 13. As you saw, Tobin actually ran onto the grass on the right hand side on the exit, trying to give Stuward enough room so that if Stuward was actually going to pass, he could pass. But turns out Stuward was not actually going to pass, and Tobin unnecessarily went on the grass. But Tobin still has the position, he still has P3, and Stuward is right there still, trying to make a move, now on lap 34, down into turn 1, and they've both stayed within the track limits at turn 1. And Stuward has actually fallen off ever so slightly through turn 1, so it looked to be speed through turn 1 that was actually killing or his run, and he's stopped saying killing it. It was killing his run, but again, as I said, I could be wrong. Through the chicane now, there's no moves made there. Now through turn 9 comes the two, well, third and fourth place even, Tobin, and there's another move up the inside at turn 10. Is that one going to work? There's side by side coming through on the exit of turn 10, through to turn 11. Same thing that happened last lap. Stuward on the outside of Tobin. Is Stuward going to be able to get it done? Through turn 11, with the boots. He's now switched to the inside of Stuward. That's a very, very good switchback to actually get that done. At quite high speed. Up the inside, is he going to try? No, he's not. But is Tobin going to run wide? No, Tobin's still on the track. So that has killed Stuart's chances of actually making a move round the outside. It would have been into turn 13. But we saw earlier, I can't remember who it was, but we saw earlier a car get on the grass, trying to go right around the outside of turn 13, which nearly ended very, very badly for that car. But anyway, down towards turn 1, there's a car in the pits on the left hand side, very, very late in the race. So I'm going to assume at this point that everyone that hasn't stopped now isn't going to stop, which means that Steinberg has actually got a very, very good lead at the front of the pack. Tobin is holding off even. He's holding off Stuward very, very well. And I saw a couple of cars in front of these two, which means that lap traffic might be on the way. I said only 3 or 4 laps ago we haven't seen any lap traffic yet. But now we might be starting to see some. We have the battle for 19th here between the Sport Pacer car of Peterson and the Prima of Casella. I think that's how you say it. And Casella, or I'm going to say Casella. Casella is going to try and possibly get past into turn 1. You could tell it's Prima because it's the same livery that they've used in all of their other series that they have entered in the past couple of years. And the Sport Pacer car it doesn't look anything like the Racing Point from Formula 1. But anyway, Casella is going to look to get past Peterson for the minor placings, if I'm being honest. Okay, there's 30 cars in this field, so 19th isn't overly bad. But still, it's in the bottom half. So you never want to be in the bottom half. Just trust me. And is Peterson going to be able to hold off Casella into the chicane? Yes, he is. Leader now on lap 36. That might take over to lap 37 in a minute, depending on how far around the track they are compared to where we are. We are at turn 10, which is the long left-hand at this time. And is Casella going to make a move? Doesn't look to do so. So he's going to Casella is either going to set Peterson up into turn 1 or the chicane. Those are his 2 overtaking opportunities. Or if he gets a very, very, very good run off the chicane, he might make a dive bomb move into turn 10, which will be spectacular. We won't really see it because of where the cameras are placed, but it will still look quite good from where we are. So we're still focusing on Casella. And Peterson just up in front in 19th. Now if Casella can get past Peterson, he can then try and push on and get a couple or 1 or 2 more positions for himself, depending on when he actually gets past. These two have just started like 36, and now we switch to the battle for 12th between Morel and Fabrici. So Fabrici, after getting past his teammate Bray, is now making a move for 12th, is he? No, not quite. He's going to make this move, if he does make the move, on Morel of the Haas Lotus team. So there's an American and British combination there. And there's a car that's sort of waiting in the wings, and then you can see Bray in 15th now for Bray. And Morel is going to look to hold off Fabrici, who's so much quicker. Up the inside, into the heel. Is Fabrici going to get it done? On Morel. Oh, Morel runs very, very wide, and that means Fabrici's going to get the move done on the Haas between turns 12 and 13. What they say in America is that is the short shoot, named after the straight between 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 in Indianapolis even. For people that don't know that Indianapolis. But anyway, down towards turn 1 comes for Fabrici, even. Leader's on his penultimate lap, so that's going to tick over very, very soon to the final lap for who I believe the leader is still Steinberg, but he might not. It might not be. Steinberg might have pitted. Here we go. We're on the final lap for the leader. Yep, this is still Steinberg. And he's down into turn 1. He has got some lap traffic to contend with, so we're finally going to see the leader actually try and negotiate some lap traffic. We haven't seen that yet, as whoever's been in the lead has really been on their own the entire race. You'll remember that Castillo pulled out a massive lead over Ordonez at the start, and Ordonez then dropped back, and we haven't heard in about 10 laps, so we don't know where he is. And Steinberg took over the lead once Castillo pitted on lap 16, somewhere around there, and he's not relinquished it ever since. He was battling with Tovin at one point after even. Was it before or was it after? He was battling with Tovin at some point, which has actually got him this win, and Tovin has also dropped back a little bit. So whoever battles with either of them two leaders is going to drop back, is what I've noticed. And Steinberg doesn't even need to overtake these lap cars. He just needs to cruise around the final 3 corners to the win for round 2 of the Superlights Championship in 2020. Through the penultimate corner now. Lap traffic kind of holding him up, but Steinberg won't mind. He's going to win anyway. So he's happy just to sit back behind this lapped car, and Steinberg wins the Watkins Glen race for Superlights, and BMW get a win. So Jacques Steinberg is your race winner today, and we see the battle for 7th on the last lap. Here's Ordonez. I was just talking about him a second ago. He's looking to get past Milne. Ordonez has finally found some pace. Was Milne just got past Ordonez? We don't know. We've only just come onto this battle. Audi looking to defend from Virgin. Virgin looking to get past Audi. And the battle for 7th is going to go right down to the end of the race. And is Ordonez going to get it done? It doesn't look like it. So Milner's going to come across the line 7th unless he gets a really, really poor exit. Ordonez has actually got a really, really good exit, side by side over the line. Milner's just about got it for 7th place. That was an exhilarating final lap battle between Milne and Ordonez. Ordonez, who started 2nd, dropped down to 8th. That's not a great result for him, but it could be worse. He could have not finished at all if he got too involved in some of the battles. And here we see a replay of that finish between Milne and Ordonez. And Jacques Steinberg, with a 14-second advantage over Castillo, wins the race. How's that?